I've been having a lot of people ask me what the process is for converting this to flat track. So that's what I'm gonna do here. You can see it's all set up for dunes. It's the last time I had it out. I actually didn't wash it. Shh, don't tell anybody. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you and show you what it takes to convert this over to flat track. And today I am actually going up north to do some ice racing indoors on an ice skating rink. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna swap some ice tires on. So normally when you go flat track racing, you wanna be as low as you can be to the ground. These are what I use in the back. This is a Hoosier 16-inch tire on an 8-inch 250R wheel. And it makes me a lot lower to the ground, all the traction that I need. Also got a lower profile for the front, 10-inch wheel. But for ice racing, this is just a one-time thing. I just wanted to try ice racing. So I got some studs and some old tires. These old tires are massive. They are like, they say they're 20s, but they fit like a 22. And yeah, they're big boys. So we're gonna have these big old monster truck tires on the back while I'm trying to slide corners, but these are the cold cutter screws. Took me about an hour to do all three. I got 300 screws, just simple. I'm gonna try to slide around a little bit. We'll see how that goes with these massive tires, but that's what we're gonna be putting on today. But just want to show the contrast in height for these guys. A little bit different. So we're gonna give it a shot. So we're gonna be swapping all three tires on this. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing on the stand, just so we have all of them off the ground at the same time. Putting this thing on the stand is actually pretty easy, so it's so light in the front. I'll show you. Just like that. So we're gonna be swapping out this tire here for this old studded tire. It's not gonna be super low to the ground, but like I said before, I'm just trying this once just to say that I went ice racing. So this is what we're gonna do. Setting up for ice racing is pretty much the exact same thing that I do for flat track racing. So if you ask what I'm doing for flat track racing, it's gonna be the same thing minus a different set of tires. Now guys, I know how easy it is to get carried away with an impact when you're putting these things together, taking them apart. But these right here, do not use an impact on these. There's people that'll tell you not to use an impact on a single bolt on this bike, but definitely do not use them on those. They will strip out, and it is not good. Trust me, I know. I've done it. And when I'm tightening these, I tighten them in a crisscross pattern just because all this stuff here is aluminum minus the threads. So this old, like 38-year-old aluminum, I don't want to strip it out. I use a small ratchet, just torque them down. These aren't going to get a lot of impacts when you're riding. So as long as they're snug, they're not going to come loose. And if they do, got to remember that half the bolts on this bike are going to rattle loose eventually. It's a 250R, so just deal with it. If it rattles out, put another one there. That's why you bring extra bolts. So racing three-wheelers around here, we have a set of rules that we follow. Basic rules like safety stuff that you need to have, like a tether kill switch up on here. It's something you got to have. But another one of the rules is you have to be within 50 inches wide. That's not just the wheelbase. Oftentimes it is. That's the farthest point that sticks out usually. But 50 inches from the widest point on the bike. That could be the handlebars, that could be the plastics. Most of the time it's the tires. So you want to be as close to 50 inches wide as possible. Some people, they want to be a little more narrow than that. That's fine. Back in the day, if you watch some of the older racing videos, they're racing TT, so they're turning right and left. All the flat track racing that I do around here, it's all left-hand turns, just like NASCAR. A little bit less cool and doesn't pay as much, but left-hand turns, so we want to have that side extended out. It's a three-wheeler, so you want to have more stability, obviously, wherever you can get it. So what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to take these tires off. I have this hub right here. This is a 2-inch extended 400EX hub that will fit my 400EX swing arm. And then I'm going to put this on the other side, along with two 2-inch spacers. That's going to extend a whole lot on the other side. But I also want to suck this wheel in as far as I can so that I can get as much width that way as possible. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to take this wheel off real quick, take this hub off, and I'm actually going to flip it around so that this tire is as close to the axle as possible. It's going to look really weird, but trust me, that's what you got to do to stay within 50-inch limit. So you're probably watching this and wondering what the heck I'm doing. So this, like I said, 50 inches from the widest point on the bike. You want to have as much stability as possible when you're going around turns. It's a three-wheeler, it's easy to flip. So I'm going to extend that axle back that way. And this is sucked in as far as possible. It is just about right in line with this fender. So it is the widest part of the bike. That allows me to extend it as far as I want that way, as long as I'm within 50 inches. After all, I'm only gonna be turning left, so this is gonna work out great. So I just want to give you guys a little heads up, a little food for thought. When you're putting on extended hubs, obviously these are going to extend out and cover your castle nut here. So think ahead a little bit. Think of where you're going to put your pin in. So just make sure that this opening lines up with your pin. So just make sure the hole is up top or on the sides. Okay, let's double check that we are within 50 inches. No way. I thought for sure it was gonna be too wide. It's like literally right there. 50 inches. I'm like right there. Let's also just appreciate how menacing this thing looks with the studded tires on there. Granted, I'm gonna drop it down, but this thing looks pretty crazy. Okay, let's get this thing off the stand, drop it. So one of my least favorite parts about converting this to flat track is dropping the forks down. This machine has been over how many jumps over the last 38 years of its life? Not everything is perfectly straight anymore. Hey, no. This man thinks he's doing. Anyways, not everything is perfectly straight anymore. These forks and these triple clamps are not all perfectly aligned anymore, so it's kind of tough to just get these drop up in there. So I'm going to take this headlight off, take these bolts out, and then I'm actually going to wedge some screwdrivers in there and open them up a little bit, and then I'm going to drop these fork tubes up. Okay, so we got the forks dropped down in there. I couldn't go as low as I normally do, because with this monster tire on there, you can see just how close that comes to the pipe. And it was actually hitting when I went. and drop them all the way up in there. So I dropped them back down a little bit. It's probably still gonna rub a little bit. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, there we go. Let's get the forks tightened up, put the number plate on, and then we'll do the back. Now, most people, when they lower the back end of a 250R for flat track racing, they either do a few things. They replace this linkage in here with a longer one, which drops the suspension down low and it still uses your full shock travel. Other people also replace the shock with a piece of steel tubing that is the ideal length that they want and makes the whole back end rigid. So that's eventually the route that I'm going to go, but the third way to do it is you use a official Honda line, high strength, impact resistant, Home Depot ratchet strap. Now, you may be like blown away at this, but it works. Works pretty good. Wrap this around a few times. Baby, looking at this, you're like, Michael Sabo wouldn't do that. Well, not everybody can be Mike Sabo. If you notice, I didn't torque a single thing in this video. You may also be wondering, now Austin, what's stopping this from like sliding down off the grab bar into the chain?